Bernie has brought up a couple of times today the big debate tonight, the four of them. Of course, Andrew Giuliani, the odds-on favorite, Lee Zeldin, Rob Astorino, who will join us for a couple of minutes at 8:40, and Harry Wilson. And that brings us to Saturday night. I told you, Bernie, about this last week. I've spoken to Andrew Giuliani quite a bit the last few weeks. I was endorsing Lee Zeldin from day one relatively enthusiastically, and I've come off that a bit, more than a bit. And I'm taking a better look at the other three guys who I've had conversations with, all of them, as you know, Rob, Harry, and Andrew. So Saturday night, Andrew Giuliani, after spending most of his day Saturday on Staten Island, guys like Frank Morano saw him out there, Curtis Lewa, a host of others, made his way to Brooklyn and joined me and my beautiful wife Danielle for dinner at the legendary Michael's restaurant. And the three of us, me, Danielle, and Andrew, sat down, spent about 3 hours together, had a great dinner, thanks to Mike and Freddie and Enzo and the whole crew, watched the Ranger game, and discussed everything you could imagine about this debate and moving forward. And I will say this. One of the attacks on Giuliani, Bernie, will be lack of experience. It's stupid. For starters, he grew up in a household with Rudy Giuliani. That's a lot of experience. But more importantly, he spent the last 4 years doing what? Working for Donald Trump in the White House. Every day he sat with Trump. He filled me and Danielle in on certain meetings he had that were really, really intense. I mean, he was involved in some very serious discussions. So, you can bash him. Yes, he was not the executive in Westchester. He wasn't a congressman on Long Island. But I would say sitting in that room with Donald Trump for 4 years, that's pretty valuable experience. I know you're not going to disagree with that, Bernie.
No, I would say that's the top echelon of power in the United States.
Yes.
And he was one step away from the president right there. I'm sure.
And by the way, he yelled at Trump. He gave us a couple of conversations, and Trump yelled back. But there was a real give and take, and they spoke quite a bit about some of the biggest dealings going on in the world today. So the lack of experience falls short there.
Yes. I mean, listen, I'm not going to criticize Andrew Giuliani, or I'm not even going to mount a contrarian critique of him. I'm not going to do it this morning. I'll wait and let the opponents do it tonight. You could mount some sort of again criticism of that, his lack of experience. You could, but I'm not going to do it here this morning. No. I like Andrew Giuliani, and I'll give him that. He worked in the Trump White House, and
yes.
And he's brilliant. And I love his dad. His dad is a super patriot. Despite what many people think, the conventional wisdom among the ignorant, a common denominator nitwits out there, is that Rudy Giuliani is some sort of a bogeyman, some sort of bad guy, and that's not the case. He is a super patriot, courageous, brilliant, and so therefore, his son is in good stead with me.
He's a great kid. He is New York, lives there down by Chambers Street and Battery Park. Yankee fan his whole life. I know Rob Astorino's a Miami Dolphin fan. Great. I don't even know who Harry Wilson roots for. But when I think of New York, I think of the Giulianis. And look, he's ready. That doesn't mean he's going to win. And that doesn't mean that Harry, Rob, and Lee aren't ready. And, Lee, of course, kind of jumped out of the gate as the go-to guy and has had all kinds of issues since. Some of the candidates going out and saying he voted up and down with Cuomo. He's voted with AOC. In his commercials, he talks about adding money to the police force, and one of his competitors talks about him taking money away from the police. He's got lawsuits from Harry Wilson. He's got, he obviously said that both Giuliani and Astorino committed fraud, and they were furious about that. So I remember you and I had this discussion going back about a month and a half ago, and I said, Bernie, do you think this will get ugly? And you said, no. You said, look, the main thing is to beat Kathy Hochul. That's the big thing. Well, we were wrong, because it has gotten very, very, very ugly, and the right to take on Kathy Hochul looks like it's going to be a bloodbath just to get there, because now all four of them are at each other's throats. But I did say to Andrew, I said, you look at it, it's almost like you, Rob, and Harry are kind of teaming up on Lee. Like, Lee's the favorite. He has been since day one. He got Trump's endorsement. It looks like, to a certain extent, the three of you are kind of, ganging up together on Zeldin. I said, are you worried about that? And he said, Sid, you're right. There is that dynamic out there. But he said, no. He said, if somebody comes after me, I come after them. Harry does the same thing. Rob does the same thing. But the thought that the three of us are ganging up on Lee Zeldin is not really the truth.
No, well, of course, Lee Zeldin is the party establishment choice, and that's why he sort of stands out. That's why the others are essentially outsiders. They had to fill petitions to get on the ballot. So that's why the perception is that they're going after him and him alone, but because he is the party establishment choice. And now, of course, the thing here is electability. If any of these guys, all of these criticisms that we're talking about, and I'm not going to mount the criticism of Andrew or of anybody. I'm going to wait and see tonight. Let the opponents do it. But it's electability. If those, whether or not it's fair, it doesn't matter. If those criticisms are effective and it's going to hurt the person, this candidate, whoever it may be, in November, that's a problem. And that's why electability is a really, really something that we have to ponder hard and fast. We have to really ponder that.
That's fair because we have to beat Hochul. There's no doubt about it. And Astorino will claim he's the most electable because while Andrew Giuliani is brilliant and a fighter and all those things, he'll tell you that the Giuliani name is good and bad. And it can hurt Andrew.
Yes,
that's why he thinks he's the most electable. I'm not sure that's the truth. In fact, I don't know if that's the truth, but that'll be Astorino's fight in this. I will say that I did watch the Democrats last week on CBS with Dubois and Kramer, and it was very, very tough to watch. Kathy Hochul, Tom Suozzi, and Jumaane Williams. First of all, they were whispering. It seemed like the whole debate, the two moderators for CBS, there was zero energy from the three candidates. In fact, I really thought Tom Suozzi, who we know we can't stand on this show, he probably came out the best of the three of them, and he's got no chance of winning the primary and or winning the general election. But I thought he did the best of the three, which is kind of like saying you won a beauty contest in a leper colony. But believe me when I tell you, talking to Andrew on Saturday, they are ready for a much different Dubois and Kramer tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Dubois and Kramer are part of their team, part of the Suozzi,
yes,
part of the Democrat team.
Yes.
So you're not going to get a spirited debate. You're not going to get a spirited back and forth from anybody because, again, they're all on the same team. I can't say it any better than that.
It is. It's true. It'll be different.
Listen, also regarding tonight, the latest that I saw was that Lee Zeldin said that Andrew Giuliani appearing virtually is a non-starter. I don't know what that means. What is a non-starter? Meaning what? You're not going to show up if he does it virtually?
I mean, let's be honest. If Lee Zeldin was smart, that's what he would do, right? I had this discussion with Frank Morano earlier today. He is leading. Andrew will tell you differently. Andrew's got polls where he's leading, and Zeldin has polls.
Those are Zeldin's paid for polls.
Correct. That's what Andrew would tell you, right? I don't know though. I have no idea who's leading, who's not leading. I don't know. But if he is leading, then there's no reason to debate tonight. So it would be in Zeldin's best interest, right? Because Astorino's going to go after him hard. Giuliani's going to kill him. He's going to kill him. And I love Lee, but if he gets in a war of words with Andrew, he can't win. He cannot win that. So it's in Lee's best interest to shut this thing down and say, let me tell you something. If Andrew can't be there tonight, we're better off not doing this. That's what he really should do. He's not going to do that, and Andrew will be there remote, and maybe that'll hurt Andrew, I guess. But that is in Lee Zeldin's best interest to shut this thing down tonight and continue to lead without fighting.
Well, if you believe he does have a lead again.
Well, he's either first or second. That I know for sure.
Those are his own paid-for polls that he's citing.
He's either first or second. He's beating Astorino and Wilson. I promise you that. So either way, he shouldn't debate.
Unlike Giuliani and Astorino, he's not as quick on his feet. He's not as glib as the other two guys.
Agreed.
Which I would say you would need in a general election. As a politician, you need those things. You need wit. You need humor. You need, again, a certain agility on your feet when you're speaking. And Lee Zeldin, Iraq war veteran, served nobly in the Congress.
Yep.
I love the guy. But, again, this is the future of New York State we're talking about. So we have to keep it real. We can't, fake stuff because we don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. We have to assess these things realistically.
Of course.
And go forward from there.
And that's why after initially endorsing Zeldin with enthusiasm, which I did, You notice I spent the last couple of weeks talking more and more to the other opponents, including allowing them to go out and do these type of things, because I'm not just going to dive in without knowing all of the details like you're talking about, Bern. And by the way, if you like the way Donald Trump ran the country because he's a great businessman, the guy with the best business acumen of these four guys, again, if you want to talk honestly, is Harry Wilson. He's the best of the four.
Right. Well, what is his business experience? Please enlighten me, because I just don't know.
Well, he's run successful companies. He's bailed a bunch of companies out of big time trouble when they're about to go bankrupt. I mean, he's basically been a businessman his whole life. He hasn't. Astorino's been a politician, right? Lee Zeldin's been a politician. Giuliani's grown up in the household of a politician. Harry Wilson, basically a businessman who's looking to get into this. So to me, that's a striking similarity on this level to what Donald Trump did on a national level.
Yeah, Astorino also a broadcast experience, radio host, program director, stuff like that. It wasn't. I mean, he has some private sector experience, and not all government experience.
Right.
True. But either way, whatever. It's just let's watch them tonight and watch how they handle themselves, and just think ahead to the general election when they have the debates back, in September and October and stuff like that. And just think of how they're going to perform and how people are going to see them, because that's what is going to determine this election here. Kathy Hochul is a very, very weak-ass candidate. Terrible, awful. So you have a strong, good speaker on the stump debating her, crushing her in this year of 2022 when the red wave is unmistakable, is a coming red wave, and it's affecting all aspects of all elections, municipalities, state governments, county governments, federal elections. It is this is the year that the Republican can win in New York State. And remember this, George Pataki, 3 days before the election against Mario Cuomo, when he beat Mario Cuomo, 3 days before, he was down 11 points.
Yes, that's true.
And he won.
That's true.
So,
you're right.
So keep hope alive, and don't necessarily put all your stock in these polls. They're not the most reliable polls.
I'm not paying attention to any of them. Just so you know, I mean, I know in my heart of hearts that Zeldin and Giuliani are winning. I know that. I don't care which poll says it, which one it is. I'm not paying any attention to either one of them. I really believe, in fact, I'm almost sure that Astorino and Harry Wilson have the most work to do to catch those two guys. But listen, it's a four-man race again. Lee Zeldin, Andrew Giuliani, who will probably be in studio tomorrow, Rob Astorino, who will join us at 8:40 this morning, and Harry Wilson, who will join us at the end of the week. Four men. Check it out tonight, CBS, 7 o'clock. It is important, very important, because as Bernie said, the red wave is coming, and we need it right here in this state, maybe now more than ever.
It's Curtis Sliwa, and I want to bring you some important information regarding the pandemic nursing home scandal, which resulted in so many unnecessary deaths. To shed some light on this important issue, I have Jeff Guzman here from the law firm of Krenzel Guzman Herbert. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me, Curtis.
Jeff, is it true that former Governor Cuomo mandated that nursing homes take in COVID patients?
Most New Yorkers mistakenly believe that was the case. However, it's not true. The state only issued guidance to nursing homes suggesting that they admit such patients, and even after the guidance was rescinded shortly thereafter, nursing homes continued to admit COVID-positive patients.
Jeff, hold on. So you're saying that these nursing homes do bear some of the responsibility for what happened?
Yes, I am. These nursing homes greatly increased the risk to existing residents. Also, nursing homes may have made financially motivated decisions to admit COVID-positive patients despite the known risk to existing residents. Then Governor Cuomo's administration underreported nursing home COVID deaths by 50%. The actual number was roughly 16,000 deaths.
It makes so many of us so angry. So you're saying that those family members can sue these nursing homes?
Yes, and my firm is representing many of them.
When you were on the air with Sid Rosenberg, the phones blew up.
They did. I think a lot of people just didn't know who to call or that their family might be entitled to compensation. I'm glad to get the message out that at Krenzel Guzman Herbert, we're working hard to fight on behalf of these families.
To everyone listening out there, if you or a friend lost a loved one to COVID, call Jeff Guzman and his team at KG Law today. Jeff, where can you be reached?
You can call our office at 212-227-2900 or visit us at kglawteam.com.
That's the KG Law Team at 212-227-2900. Or just go to kglawteam.com. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Curtis.